Imagine a giant, beautiful castle with tall stone walls, shiny gold decorations, and hundreds of rooms. Inside this castle lives a family that the whole world watches every single day. Most people think their lives are like a perfect fairy tale, full of pretty crowns and fancy parties. But what if I told you that behind those big, heavy wooden doors there is a secret struggle happening? Imagine a son who is worried about his father, a queen who wants to keep doing her job, and a fight that is making the hallways feel very cold and quiet. Today we are going to talk about a very big disagreement between Prince William and Queen Camilla. This isn't just a small argument about what to have for dinner. This is a fight about the future of the kingdom, about who gets to make the rules, and about how to take care of a king who is feeling very sick. It is a story about memories from a long time ago and worries about what will happen tomorrow. Get ready, because we are going to look inside the palace to find out why things are so tense and what it means for the most famous family in the world. Sometimes people want to make things different. They don't want to change everything all at once, like turning the whole world upside down. Instead, they just want to fix the things they think are broken. Right now, some very surprising news is coming out of the royal house. This news isn't about someone going on a trip or someone getting a cold. Instead, it is about a big fight that is growing between Prince William and his stepmother, Queen Camilla. People who know the family say that things are getting very intense. Prince William is starting to act very tough. He is saying that he might change things in the future that would affect Camilla's job and her family's place in the royal group. You might be wondering what really happened to make them so upset with each other. We are going to look for the truth about this royal fight. It all started with a very big, fancy dinner called a state banquet. This event was the spark that started the fire, and we are going to tell you exactly why Prince William lost his cool. To understand the fight, we have to look back at a special night on March 18, 2026. This was the night of a very important visit from the country of Nigeria. It was the first time in almost 40 years that a leader from Nigeria had come for a formal visit to the United Kingdom. This was supposed to be a wonderful time to show everyone how strong and traditional the British monarchy is. The leader, a man named Balanibu, arrived at Windsor Castle. There were cameras everywhere from all over the world. They wanted to see every handshake, every smile, and every step the royals took. It looked like a perfect evening from the outside. But while the cameras were flashing and the gold plates were being set on the table, something happened behind the scenes that changed everything. You won't want to miss this part of the story, because it shows what was really going on when the public wasn't looking. While the banquet looked calm and pretty, the feeling inside the palace was not calm at all. People who worked there say that Prince William was very, very worried. He was looking at the schedule for his father, King Charles III. The king was 77 years old, which is a very old age to be working so hard. In the weeks before the big visit, the king had already looked very tired. Because of this, the busy 2-day plan for the Nigeria visit made the people who love him very concerned. Prince William was more than just a little worried. He was actually very angry. He truly believed that the plan was way too hard for his father. He thought his father should be resting and taking it easy instead of standing for hours and talking to many people. To William, the big fancy dinner was a big risk that did not need to happen. He felt like his father's health was being put in danger just to have a party. Even though William was very worried, Queen Camilla did not see things the same way. She thought it was very important for the king to go to the banquet. She believed that because the whole world was watching the royal family, they needed to look strong. In her mind, showing that the family was united and doing their duty was more important than staying home because they were tired. She wanted the king to show everyone that he was still the leader. In the end, King Charles and Queen Camilla did go to the big event. But this did not make Prince William feel any better. In fact, seeing his father at the dinner made him even more sure that he was right. Many people who watched the dinner noticed that the king looked very sleepy and not very healthy. People started talking about how tired he looked, and this made William feel like he was right all along. He was sure that his father had been pushed to work way too hard. William did not just blame the people who wrote the schedule or the staff who worked at the palace. Instead, he blamed Camilla. He believed she was the main person who wanted to keep the busy schedule going, even when it was clear that the king needed to sleep and rest. Those who are close to the family say that William felt very sad and like he couldn't do anything to help. He tried to tell people to slow things down so his father could rest, but he felt like no one was listening to him. This made him feel very frustrated, like he was a son who couldn't protect his own dad. At this point, the problem wasn't just about a busy calendar anymore. It became a very personal fight. William's wish to take care of his father's body crashed into Camilla's wish to do royal duties and meet what the public expected. What started as a small worry turned into a very big and serious conflict. The bad feelings between William and Camilla kept growing. It wasn't just a quiet disagreement anymore. It became an open fight where they did not agree on anything. It became a question of who was making good choices and who was responsible for the king's health. But the story does not end there. People inside the palace say that William feels like he is in a constant battle with his stepmother. They have very different ideas about what is best for King Charles. William keeps telling his father to slow down and think about his health. He wants Charles to stop doing so many public jobs and spend more time resting, especially since the king has been dealing with some very serious health problems lately. However, every time William brings this up, it seems to cause another argument with Camilla. Camilla has a very different opinion. She tells Charles to keep working and to stay very busy as the king. She thinks that being active is good for him. This difference in what they think has become a big source of fighting between them. At the very middle of this fight is a clash in how they think. Camilla believes that staying busy and letting people see the king is important for the country and for Charles himself. She probably thinks that working gives him a reason to get up in the morning and makes him feel strong and normal. From her point of view, keeping him busy might actually help him feel better. But William sees it in a completely different way. In the past, William tried hard to be nice to Camilla and have a good relationship with her. But now that has changed. His only focus now is making sure his father is safe and healthy, even if it means he has to argue with Camilla in front of everyone. One of the king's close friends said that work has always been something that makes the king feel good and stable. It helps him stay focused and feel like he is in charge, especially when things are hard. Camilla might believe this too. She might feel like she's helping him by telling him to keep working. In her eyes, she's being a supportive wife, not a mean one. But William does not think that is the right way to act. To him, the situation is very scary, and rest must come before any royal job. A person who works at the palace said that William now feels like he is standing right against Camilla. He sees her as the person who is stopping him from doing what is right, which is making sure the king doesn't work too much. This is a very sensitive time because King Charles is fighting cancer. This means the amount of work he does is not just a choice. It can actually affect his life and his future. For William, this makes the fight feel much more important. His worries are also very personal because of his own life story. William lost his mother, Princess Diana, when he was just a young boy. That very sad experience stayed with him and changed how he thinks about family and health. He's very afraid that history might repeat itself. He's scared that the hard work of being a royal might come before the health of someone he loves, just like it did in the past. Because of this, William doesn't see this as a simple argument about a schedule. To him, it is much bigger. He doesn't just see Camilla as someone with a different idea. He sees her as someone who is standing in the way of what is right for his father. For a man who will be king one day, this is a very hard and emotional place to be. It is a place where his feelings as a son and his duties as a prince are fighting each other. But wait, there's even more to this story. Another part of the tension is very surprising and involves a woman named Sarah Ferguson. In February 2026, a report came out that made the royal fight even more dramatic. People say that Prince William gave a very serious rule to Queen Camilla. He told her that she must stop being friends with Sarah Ferguson or there would be a very big problem. This was not just a small suggestion. It was a very strong demand that showed how much William cares about how the royal family looks to the public. He believes that even if you are just friends with someone who is involved in a scandal, it can hurt the monarchy. For him, protecting the reputation of the king and the family is more important than any old friendship. The timing of this demand is very important. It happened because of problems with Prince Andrew. Even though Andrew does not do royal work anymore, his past troubles still make the royal family look bad sometimes. Recently, some legal papers in America mentioned Sarah Ferguson's name. These papers are about a man named Epstein who did some very bad things. Even though Sarah Ferguson did nothing wrong, being close to that situation made William very worried. He wants to avoid any kind of risk. From his point of view, the royal family is in a very tricky spot. They need people to trust them, and if they hang out with people who are part of big scandals, people might stop trusting them. William wants to change how the monarchy looks in the modern world by being very careful about who they are seen with. But Queen Camilla did not agree with William's rule. In fact, she said she would not do what he asked. Camilla has been friends with Sarah Ferguson for a very long time, even before she was a queen. Their friendship has lasted through many hard times and mean things said in the newspapers. To Camilla, being a loyal friend is very important. She thinks that cutting someone out of your life completely is not a nice or easy thing to do. This shows a big divide between William and Camilla. William is focused on rules and making the monarchy look perfect for the future. Camilla is focused on being a good friend and staying loyal to people she has known for years. Both of them think they are right, but their ideas are pushing them apart. In the meantime, King Charles has already tried to fix some of the problems himself. To help with the issues around his brother Andrew, the king took away Andrew's royal jobs and made sure the royal family stayed away from the drama. This showed that the king knows there are risks and he is willing to act. But William seems to think that the king's steps were not big enough. William's demand to Camilla suggests that he wants a total break from anyone connected to those problems. It shows that he has a very firm and modern way of thinking. He wants to control everything about the family's image very tightly. This makes some people wonder if William is going a bit too far. After all, he is not the king yet. His father, Charles, is still the one in charge. By making these big demands, William might look like he is trying to be the boss before it is his turn. On the other hand, some people think William is doing a great job. They say he is just getting ready for the day when he will be the king. In a world where people can change their minds about the royals very quickly, these people think William's tough choices show that he is a strong leader. Still, the situation is very messy. Telling a queen who she can and cannot be friends with is a very personal thing. It is not just about a job. It is about feelings and independence inside the house. This makes the fight more than just a disagreement about reputation. It becomes a question of boundaries. People are asking how much power William should have right now and how much freedom Camilla should have as the queen. This big demand from William shows that even though the crown is on Charles's head, William is already the one pointing the way the family should go. Another reason for the bad feelings inside the family goes back a long time. It is about memories and feelings that have never really gone away. At the middle of all of this is the memory of Princess Diana. For William, this is not just a story in a history book. It is his real life. When he was a little boy, he saw his mom and dad's marriage fall apart. Most people think that happened because of Camilla's relationship with his father, King Charles. That experience left a big mark on William's heart. Even though he is a grown man now, those old hurts are still there. Some people who watch the royals say that William has learned to be polite to Camilla, but he hasn't fully accepted her as his new mom. They can talk and be nice at parties and it looks okay to the public, but in private, that peace is very fragile and can break easily. This idea is also in a book written by Prince Harry called Spare. Harry said that both he and William asked their father not to marry Camilla a long time ago. Even though they felt that way, the wedding happened anyway. For the two brothers, this was a very hard thing to deal with. When they were younger, they often saw Camilla as the person who broke their family. Over time, they tried to get used to it. William especially tried to focus on his duty. He worked hard to be nice to Camilla because he knew it was good for the monarchy. Sometimes they even seemed like they were getting along well. But lately, all those old feelings are coming back to the surface. As King Charles gets sicker, those old wounds are opening up again. When William sees Camilla telling Charles to work harder, he doesn't just see a wife helping her husband. Instead, he remembers the past. He remembers the woman who he thinks caused his family so much pain. This makes it hard for him to stay calm. There's a famous quote from Princess Diana where she said there were 3 people in her marriage, meaning Charles, Diana, and Camilla. William grew up with that being his reality. Now, as he watches his father face a very scary sickness like cancer, those memories are coming back very strong. It makes the whole situation much more complicated because it is not just about today's work. It is about all the years of sadness that came before. For William, the past and the present are getting mixed together, and it is making him feel very emotional. To make things even worse, a new book was released on March 26, 2026. The book is called Betrayal, and it was written by a man named Tom Bauer. The book says some very shocking things about the royal family. One of the biggest claims is that Camilla secretly said that Meghan Markle was brainwashing Prince Harry. We don't know if that is true, but it caused a huge mess for William. He has spent a long time trying to stay away from the drama with Harry and Meghan. This book brought all that drama back right when things were already hard. Instead of moving on, the family was pulled back into old fights. This made people think bad things about the family again and put even more pressure on everyone inside the palace. The book also talked about who has the most power in the royal family and how they make choices behind closed doors. In a house that was already feeling tense, this book made things feel even colder. One person said that the air inside Windsor Castle felt very chilly after the book came out. People stopped trusting each other as much and they were very careful about what they said. The royal family always tries to look like a happy team, but the book showed that there are big cracks in that team. It also made people think about what will happen when William becomes the king. What will happen to Camilla then? Some people think that when William takes the throne, he will have all the power to decide what everyone's job will be. He might even decide to give Camilla a much smaller role. There are signs that William is already planning for that day. He wants the monarchy to be very disciplined and controlled. He doesn't want any drama or bad secrets. The book was a reminder that time is moving fast. King Charles is still the king, but everyone knows that one day William will be in charge. The choices they make now about who is friends with whom and how much work they do will change the monarchy for many years. When you put all these things together, you can see why William and Camilla are fighting. It is because of old pain, new arguments, and worries about the future. Old wounds have opened up, new fights have started, and outside books have made it all even tougher. It is a time where history and feelings are all crashing together at once. People are very curious about what the future holds for Camilla. Behind the scenes, King Charles has been making some plans for what should happen when he is no longer here. His health is getting worse, and he has made some private choices that show how much he loves Camilla. One of the biggest things he decided was that Camilla should be called Queen Dowager after he dies. This is a special royal title that means she will still be treated with a lot of respect and stay as a queen even though her husband is gone. For Charles, this is about making sure she is safe. He doesn't want her to be pushed aside or ignored by the rest of the family. He wants to make sure she always has a high status and is never treated unfairly. King Charles wants Camilla to stay in the middle of royal life. He doesn't want her to be forced into the background like some royal widows were a long time ago. His plan sends a message that she is important and should be protected. But he didn't just give her a title, he also did some practical things to help her. Reports say he bought a very expensive house worth about $3.8 million near Camilla's own private home. He probably wants her to have a safe place to live if things get difficult at the palace in the future. This shows that Charles is thinking like a husband who wants his wife to be okay. He wants her to be independent and safe, no matter what happens with the family or what people think of her. Camilla is also doing things to help herself. She's not just waiting for Charles to fix everything. She's getting involved in big national projects to show that she is still important. For example, she went to Westminster Abbey to help start a big new building project. Doing things like this shows the world that she is active and still has a big job to do. She's also buying more land and small houses near her home in the country. This means she is building a strong base for herself so she can be stable for a long time. When you look at all these actions, you can see a plan. Charles is giving her a title and a house, and Camilla is working hard to stay relevant and independent. But all of these plans lead to one big moment, the day Prince William becomes the king. When that happens, everything will change, especially for Camilla. Some experts think that William will look very closely at Camilla's job and might make it much smaller. Even though he is polite to her in public, everyone knows that he and Harry have had a hard time with her being in their lives. Those old feelings might make William decide to give her less to do. He will be the one with all the power to decide what the monarchy looks like. He might review everything she does and even look at the people she is friends with. William wants a slimmed-down monarchy. That means he wants fewer people to be working as royals. He wants only a small group of people at the center who follow the rules and don't cause any trouble. He thinks this is the only way for the royal family to survive in the modern world. King Charles also liked the idea of a smaller royal family, but he was moving slowly. William seems like he wants to move much faster and be much firmer. This could cause even more fighting. Other people in the family, like Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are watching all of this very closely. They know that when the person at the top changes, it affects everyone else too. In the end, everyone is waiting for a big change. This change will move the monarchy into a new era, change how the family members treat each other, and test how loyal everyone really is. One thing we know for sure is that the British royal family will never be the same as it was before. There's a lot of drama, a lot of history, and a lot of feelings involved. What do you think will happen to Queen Camilla? Do you think William is right to be so tough, or should he let his stepmother keep her influence? Do you think the family can ever really be happy together again, or are the fights getting too deep to fix? It is a very complicated story, and the whole world is waiting to see what happens next. Make sure to tell us what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see more stories about the royal family. There's another video on your screen right now that you should definitely watch if you want to know more secrets from the palace.